Hello, students. Welcome to the members only live stream. And this is a chance for me to answer all my members directly and quickly. So if you are a member, you can join this live stream free. I will send you the link. If you are not a member, you should join my channel membership. You can find the links below. I'm just checking now who's here. There should usually be less than 10 people here. That doesn't mean I have less than 10 members. That just means at this time of day there's not many people. So I can see Layla's here and Carrie's here. So thank you. And if you are watching, let me know. Carrie, Layla, if you got English questions, start typing them. Start sending them. This is for you. I'm here to help you. All right, thank you guys. You can hear, you're watching, you can hear me well. Wynn's also here. Layla has the first question. Do it yourself, don't lean on your family. Lean on me. Does it mean when someone depends or something? Yeah. You lean on someone. You lean on your friend. You lean on your family. Yeah, and that means you kind of depend. If you're leaning on your family, you depend on your family. So your sentence say, do it yourself. Okay, be independent. Don't lean on your family. Don't depend on your family. Carrie asks, does reading poems help to improve my English? Of course, it helps to improve your English, but what would really help your English is if you had some experience writing a poem. So I think, yeah, if you can read some English poems, that's going to help you. But if you sat down and tried to write your own poem or poetry, wow, that would be really great. And I think that would help you to improve your comprehension of English. Because writing poems is not easy. Let's see. I'm trying to think if I could write a poem now. Let's Robin's poetry time. So poems usually rhyme. So write a poem, Carrie. It's fun. After eat a blueberry. All right, so I'm starting to write a poem here. Write a poem, Carrie. It's fun. After eat a blueberry. It's a stupid poem, I know, but writing a poem helps you to practice rhyming, because a lot of poetry has rhyming. Carrie, blueberry, and you can continue to write. So if you practice writing a poem, wow, that would be amazing. That would really help your English. I'm going to erase my poem because it's really stupid. Layla says, hey, let's drink and have fun tonight. The three of us. My treat. I'm a little confused about my treat. Oh, I searched on Google, but I'm going to search on Google. Whenever someone says they search on Google, I check Google too. What does it say? My treat. And, well, let's see, let's check. Oh, okay, it doesn't come up. And the first thing I see on Google. Your Google might be a little different, but there's only one meaning of my treat. There you go. Spoken, used to tell someone that you will pay for something such as a meal. So, yeah. So you can say, I'll pay. You could also say, it's my treat. And there's another one, another common expression, it's on me. All right, so all of these mean the same thing. So you go out with your friend, you say, I'll pay, it's my treat, it's on me. So all of this means that you're going to pay. So I'll pay, it's my treat, it's on me. These two you should remember. Very common, guys. Study that. Carrie, that's really good advice. Thanks. Yeah, Carrie, write a poem and share it on the live stream next today or next week. Whedon, I want to ask you about reading. Does understanding 90% mean vocabulary? I do like the book I'm reading, but I think I can't understand a lot of vocabulary. Isn't it my level? The key with reading. Let's talk about reading really quick. The first thing you want to do is quantity, or you want to accomplish quantity. What does that mean? Quantity means you read a lot of material. Okay, you read this, you keep going, you read a lot. So the more you read, you're going to acquire. So you're going to acquire. So what is acquire? There's studying, and then acquiring is kind of naturally learning. So naturally learning. Reading helps you to naturally learn grammar and vocabulary. You don't have to study grammar and vocabulary in a English study book. Reading, you will acquire naturally grammar and vocabulary if you have a lot of quantity. And this will help you retain. With reading, you'll learn the new grammar, the new vocabulary, and you will retain it. You'll keep it longer. So if there's two students and one student reads a lot of books and one student studies grammar, or we'll say vocabulary list, a student who reads a lot of books will remember the vocabulary long term. The student who studies vocabulary list might do better on a test, but long term, they're going to forget a lot of that vocabulary. So for you, you're reading the book. It's very important that you finish the book. A lot of people, they get books that are too difficult. They never finish the book. Finishing a book gives you a sense of accomplishment. I finished a book. What's the next book? What's the next book? You don't want to spend 1 year reading one book. You don't want to spend an hour reading one page, checking vocabulary. So that's why I say 90%. It goes quick. You need a lot of material. Okay, you don't want to spend too much time looking at the dictionary, confused. All right, that's all I'm going to say about reading. I got to move on. So if you really like the book, stick with it, but I suggest quick reading. If you're spending months and months on a book, that book is too difficult. Layla, I am ashamed of myself because I couldn't support Robin enough. I feel shy when I want to speak English. I think both of these sentences are okay. I don't see a problem. And then you continue. I think I would feel embarrassed to meet Robin face to face. Why? Here's your question. What's the difference between ashamed, shy, and embarrassed? Well, I'm going to move the chat. Good question. Ashamed, I guess, means you did something bad. All right. You did something very bad and someone found out. All right. So maybe you told a lie and then someone catches you in the lie and you're going to feel ashamed. And that's a type of embarrassment. Embarrassed is more you did something and you felt stupid. You felt silly. You felt embarrassed. And shy is just describing a personality. So ashamed and embarrassed are close. Shy is a little bit different in meaning. Shy means you don't have enough confidence or self-esteem to do something. Okay. So you don't, like a shy person. What's the opposite of shy? Outgoing. An outgoing person can feel ashamed. An outgoing person can feel embarrassed. A shy person can also feel that. So shy or outgoing is not related to ashamed or embarrassed. So they're a little different. If you had some example sentences, Layla, that would be great. Carrie, I can tell you're mentally strong and independent, Robin. Is it right? Is it the right sentence? Yeah, that's correct. But your question is you would say, is the sentence correct? That would be the best way to ask me. Is the sentence correct? Is it the right sentence? Layla, I started to write my diary, but I feel my writing is awkward, especially in the beginning of sentences. What should I do in this case? Well, Layla, of course your writing is going to be awkward. You are learning to write in English. No problem there. What should I do? Keep writing. The more to improve your writing, keep writing, but also read. Reading helps you to write. So if you're reading something, you can copy. You see a good sentence, you could copy that sentence. Your writing is awkward. Well, the only way to fix that, keep writing. Just keep writing. Layla, again. By the way, what happened to your surprise trip 4? I don't think that sentence is correct. There's no question mark on that sentence. By the way, what happened to your surprise trip 4? There shouldn't be a 4. You cut the 4 and you add a question mark. That might be better. You could ask a question, what's your trip for? What's your, type it. We would use trip for in this case, so that would mean what's the reason for your trip? But in this case, you would say, what happened to your surprise trip? Question mark. Carrie, who's your most favorite Canadian besides yourself and your family? And can you correct the sentence? The sentence is fine. The question is fine. Who's my most famous Canadian? Favorite Canadian? There's probably someone I'm not thinking of. I don't know. I guess Wayne Gretzky. Oh, Terry Fox. Terry Fox, yeah. Terry Fox is a Canadian hero. So if you Google Terry Fox, he would probably be a lot. Well, the new generation's starting to forget about Terry Fox, but Terry Fox was the hero of Canada when I was growing up. He had some health problems, so he had a artificial leg, and he started to run across Canada to get money. But unfortunately, he passed away. But Terry Fox. Wayne Gretzky, also famous Canadian. I haven't met Terry Fox, but I've met Wayne Gretzky. Well, I didn't really meet him, but I've seen him many times. He's the most famous Canadian hockey player, so every Canadian loves Wayne Gretzky. Layla, I'm very much admired Robin. Oh, this is wrong. So very much, we don't want to use very much. Try not to, everyone here, if you're watching now or in the future, try not to use very much. What you want to say is, I admire Robin. You want to use, I admire Robin a lot. A lot is better than very much. You could also say, I admire. Yeah, I don't like the word much. I don't like people saying I very much or I so much. So a lot works well. Layla, I'm going to write down my diary later. I'm going to write out my diary later. What's the difference between them? All right. When you're talking about your diary, I'm going to write down my diary later. Well, you would say this is when we're talking about a diary. Let's see. I'm going to write it down in my diary later. I'm going to write it down. We would say write it down in my diary later. That's probably the best sentence, but as you know, some people will take out the down. So I'm going to write it in my diary later. So write it in. So both cases we need in. Both are okay. I'm going to write out my diary later. That is incorrect. I'm going to write out my diary later. I'm going to write out my... That seems a little awkward. I'm going to write out my... I think using it for report. So that means you're going to do your report later. It might... I think grammatically speaking, you could say I could write out my diary later, but I think native speakers we don't talk about our diary that way. We kind of write out an essay or write out a report. Yeah, but he should have arrived by now. Is should have contraction for should have? Yes, it is. Oh. And I think it's supposed to be should has. He should has. No, after the modal, we should have should have. We can't say would. We can't say would has. We can't say should has. We cannot say could has. If you're using should, would, and could, we have to use have. Could have, should have, would have. We can't say could has, should has, would has. Mm-hmm. Layla, yes, I know a little about Terry Fox. Okay, good that he's still he died, I think, early 1980s. Layla, which is kind of scary since she's ever seen this boss. Ever? Never. Layla, I would need to see the full. So you have a sample text here. I don't have enough information. I need to know the beginning sentence and, yeah, what is the sentence before that? What does that character say before that sentence? So I don't have enough information to give a detailed answer on that, because that information depends on other sentences. So Win, I know a lot of phrasal verbs because of reading, but I can't remember all of these. My memory is bad. Well, you don't need to memorize phrasal verbs. So with the quantity, your brain is very smart. You're going to see a phrasal verb, and if you read a lot, you're going to keep seeing those phrasal verbs again and again and again and again, and you will learn the phrasal verbs. The key is quantity. If you have 1 year to read books, if a person spends 1 year on the same book, that is terrible. But if you read at your level, maybe you could read 20 books. All right, reading those 20 books, and all those books have phrasal verbs, you're going to learn phrasal verbs. But if you spend 1 year on one book, that's not going to help you learn very much. So read at your level. Layla says, I feel for you. I know you're unhappy. Yeah, I feel for you, kind of. I understand your feeling. So usually when someone has some bad luck, we would say, I feel for you. All right, I understand your feeling. I don't use that expression. I don't know. Where would we use that? I don't know. So an example, if my friend said, "Oh, I broke up with my girlfriend," and he's very sad, I might say, "Oh, I feel for you. I understand your feeling." That's when we would use it. Carrie, what's the difference between clever and smart? Hmm. Here, let me. I guess smart, smart people get, you know, you can be clever and smart. But when we call someone, if we call someone smart, that means, they study well, they have a lot of knowledge. But when we call someone clever, you're very clever. Uh, that is when they have smart ideas. Okay? So I guess if I asked my student a question, what's the capital city of France? And they say Paris. I might say, oh, you're very smart. But if I ask my student, how do you do something? I don't know. I don't have an example with me now, but how do you do something? And they have a clever answer of how to do something, or a smart answer. I might call them clever. So clever people are quick to think of ideas, quick to think of new ways. Clever people are smart, but I'm just saying words here, but there is a little bit difference. Clever is to quickly think of new ideas or to use their smart brain in a good way. If you brought in some example sentences, I can help. Where's the example sentence? Layla, sometimes I feel my English is the worst among other members during your live stream, especially, but I think the different thing for me is I have a big passion. What should I do? Layla, I'm an English teacher, but I've taught thousands of students over 20 years, and as I can point out here, a lot of the problems I encounter with students is not an English problem, it is a confidence problem. And Layla, you have a confidence problem. Your English is, I keep telling you, for over a year now, your English is great, keep doing it. But Layla, you still have this confidence problem, and I'm not sure how I can help you. I can keep telling you you're doing great. You're a great student. You have a lot of passion. But it's time to get to the next level where you realize, oh, I speak English very well. I write English very well. You're not perfect. Of course, everyone watching now is not perfect, but you're doing very well, Layla. It's time to get some confidence. Carrie, I feel lazy. Does this sentence make sense? I think you're right. Does this sentence make sense? Yes. Oh, you fixed it. Makes sense. Yes, I feel lazy. Layla, how do you feel towards me? Especially, I live in a country which has a very different culture from others. Are my sentences correct? How do you feel toward me? Well, let me fix this up a little bit. How do you feel toward me? And I'm going to put a comma, especially since I live in a country which has a very different culture from others. Maybe I'm not sure, something like that. How do you feel towards me, especially since I live in... Oh, I gotta fix it. Not finished yet. I live in a country. You need to... How do you feel toward me, especially since I live in a country which has a very different culture from others? That might be the question you want to ask. All right. Any last questions or comments? Get them in. I'm going to finish up the live stream very soon. This has been my longest members only live stream. Thank you, Layla. Keep doing it, Layla. I believe in you, Layla, and I will meet you one day. You better have confidence to speak English. Carrie, my brain is foggy. That is correct. Carrie, your sentences are too negative. You say, I feel lazy, my brain is foggy. Carrie, why don't you get some positive sentences? Yeah, if your brain is foggy, it's not clear. Layla, I'm going to speak English very well if I set my mind to it. Could you please tell me when should I use set your mind to it? Yeah, well, your sentence is correct if you set your mind to it. So if you plan and you do it. Let's put set your mind to it. You plan it, you do it, and you never quit. You set your mind to it. So all of you, whoever's watching live or later on, you got to set your mind to studying English. How are you going to improve your English? Do it. Practice your English. Never quit. Set your mind to it. Be strong. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up now. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. So take care, everyone. And before next week, please study English and, of course, bring back some new questions.